The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. As we turn now to Honduras, today marks the one-year anniversary of the military coup that overthrew the democratically elected President Manuel Zelaya, setting off a wave of repression that continues today. In the early hours of June 28, 2009, armed soldiers removed Zelaya from the presidential residence and put him on a plane to Costa Rica. Today, the coup's repressive legacy continues with ongoing reports of killings, disappearances, torture, and impunity. In a statement marking this first anniversary of the coup, Amnesty International says the Lobo government has, quote, failed to address serious human rights violations that followed the coup. Amnesty also says 7 Honduran journalists have been killed in the past 3 months. Well, as we look at this anniversary, we're joined here in New York by Gerardo Torres. He's an independent journalist, member of the National Front of Popular Resistance in Honduras. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Gerardo. Can you tell us what has happened to your country in this year and the significance of this one-year anniversary?
Thank you very much, Amy. Thank you very much for Democracy Now! Well, Honduras, as you said, it had a military coup that was recognized by the whole world except by the United States, that never had a position about it. And in the first days of the coup, we were in the principal headlines all around the mainstream media in the world. But as time passed by, people had started to hear less and less about what's going on in Honduras. The repression is getting harder, and after the elections of November 29 last year, the United States has been in charge of telling the world that everything is getting back to normal in Honduras, and they were trying to get back. The real thing is that in the first part of the coup, that was the one directed by Roberto Micheletti, there were 270 human rights violations proved to be by political reasons, and Lobo has already 310 recognized by several human rights organizations, even Amnesty International. And we can see that the repression is getting harder, but the news are getting less and less getting to know about Honduras. So we are our first anniversary. We are remembering what happened on June 28, but also celebrating about what is going on in Honduras, that in one hand we have a hard repression, but in the other hand we have a popular resistance that's getting stronger all around the country, and we're starting a new process. So it's also a celebration for us in Honduras.
The deposed president, Manuel Zelaya, the victim of the coup, said that the coup was made in the USA.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Yes, we do. We have proof that John Dimitri Negroponte had meetings 3 weeks before the coup.
The former ambassador to Honduras, John Negroponte.
Yeah, and Negroponte had meetings 3 weeks before the coup with Hugo Lawrence, that is the actual U.S. ambassador, with the principal leaders of the military and the businessmen, the rich elite, and also the elite of the religious sectors of the Evangelic and the Catholic Church. And he had a meeting 3 weeks before, and one of the people that were in the meeting has declared to the press that in that meeting they talk about the coup, that they knew about the coup, and that even Lawrence has accepted that he knew about the coup, but he didn't tell anything to Zelaya because he didn't want to interfere in the national affair.
Gerardo, Porfirio Lobo, the current president of Honduras, says that he is the target of a new plot by some of the same wealthy businessmen who supported Zelaya's removal. He fears a new coup.
Yeah, because
this is a man who supported the coup.
Yeah, because the coup wasn't not only against Zelaya. The coup was against a process that has started in Honduras by 2000, 2001. It started against the privatizations of water and other principal sectors of the country, and developed. Zelaya became to develop it even more in what was happening in the country. So they tried to stop. They thought with stopping Zelaya, they could stop a large project, and now, but they invest a lot of money. A lot of money that Lobo hasn't returned that investment to them, because in first place he hasn't get the international recognition that he was supposed to get at the first month of his government, but he also hasn't stopped the resistance, because for the military elite and for this businessman, this wealthy businessman, he has not been harsh enough with the resistance, even though, as I said, we have already 310 human rights violations proved to be directly by against people of the resistance.
The U.S. is pushing for Honduras to be welcomed back into the Organization of American States. What's your stance?
Well, it's like the second part of the plan. It's the first plan. It was make a new kind of coup, put some makeup with it, and present it like a democratic government, and now gaining the recognition. It's a really bad example for Latin America, what happened in Honduras, because if this process completes, then a new era of coups are going to start going on in the region. And we know that in Latin America, once a process starts in one country, it tends to reproduce in the other ones. So the United States is playing a very dangerous role for the Honduran people, because he has been the lead spokesman of Lobo and the military regime.
Finally, Gerardo, can you talk about what's being planned today on this first anniversary of the coup, the launch of the true commission by the resistance? What does that mean?
Well, the government and the regime started a truth commission that was supported by OAS, in which was made from people that were part of the coup. Today, that in the first anniversary, we're going to have a big march in Honduras that is going to end in one of the T-shirts movement headquarters, where a true commission is going to be presented. And this is our second step as a resistance, to getting the world to know who were behind the coup, who paid for the coup, and, for example, what was the role of the United States and other external sectors that support it. We also have a big concert in Honduras, and here in New York there's also going to be a demonstration today at 4 p.m. and also there's going to be a presentation of what is a documentary that's called ¿Quién dijo miedo?, and it's going to be presented in several places, and it's Who Said We Were Frightened? And it's going to be presented in New York in several places.
Well, we will link to the information at democracynow.org. Gerardo Torres, thank you so much for being with us, independent journalist, member of the National Front of Popular Resistance in Honduras. That does it for today's broadcast. A very happy birthday to John Randolph. Democracy Now! Is produced by Mike Burke, Shufo Gokadu, Aaron Mata, Angeli Kamet, Steve Martinez, Nicole Salazar, Hani Masood, Robbie Karen, Mike DeFilippo, Miguel Noguera, our engineer. Special thanks to Julie Crosby, Becca Staley, Nick Gala, Hugh Grant, Samantha Chambly, Jessel Noor, John Randolph, Karen Kirk Meadows, Rockam Penny, Besta Godars. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for joining us.